Real American Cougar. Today we're going to talk over a few things that we reviewed in some of the other episodes. I get a lot of talk between mature ladies, single mature ladies, and myself. We talk, and one of the things I hear a lot about is how hard it is to date when you're older. And a lot of the thing about it is, the reason it's so hard to date when you're older is, number one, there aren't as many eligible men. That makes it very hard. Women are outliving men. That is true. Not sure why the reason is, but that is true. A lot of men are already married. They've already been in long-term relationships, had children, looking forward to retirement with their spouse, so they're not available. And the other thing is, that makes it hard to date, is that if you do meet somebody and you go out with them and you talk to them and you don't hit it off right away, or maybe you don't hit it off at all, then when you first meet somebody and they seem really nice and you're all aflutter and you're all with expectation and you're just looking for things to work out right, and you just think, well, if I do this, if I do that, if I do it right, if I say the right thing, then things are going to work out and it's going to be great. I'm not going to be lonely anymore. Well, the thing of it is, if it doesn't work out, then you're stuck right back to where you were in the beginning. Why did it happen to me? What did I do? Maybe I shouldn't have done that certain thing. You start second guessing yourself. When you grow up and you have an experience where you're taught that other people come before you, this is especially hard for fixers and helpers. When they're taught that you look out for the other person, you put everyone before yourself. Everyone else's happiness is important. You got to realize that your own happiness is important too. And that's kind of what this little talk is about, that letdown feeling when you go out and you meet the person and you think everything is going well, and then maybe for some reason, maybe it's you, maybe it's him, maybe it's the both of you, you decided that's just not going to go. It's that feeling, and this is what you start to do. A lot of us, I can say myself, I'll speak for myself, grew up looking for the love and approval of other people, looking for the love and approval of our parents, our friends, our partners. We're always looking for acceptance. Everyone is looking for acceptance. When you are rejected by someone you've been out with, you feel that you've not been accepted. You've not been, your traits have not been enough. You become your own worst critic, and you start looking at all the ways that you've done something wrong. And this is a very simple thing that people do all the time. I'll give you a very, very simple example. I was working the other day. I went out to usher in a lady, and she looked so cute. She had this cute summer outfit on, and she wasn't a young lady, but she really looked nice. And as I was preparing her to do what she came to do, I told her, well, don't you look nice today? And such a nice summer outfit. And we walked back, she sat down, and she said, well, I have this stain right here on my shirt. And if she wouldn't have said and pointed, I had the stain right here on my shirt, I would have never, ever even seen it. So that's what we do. We start being critical of ourselves. Everything we do wrong, we emphasize everything we do wrong. We feel bad about everything. This lady looked lovely. She looked cute. She had on bright colors. I gave her a compliment. I never would have even known. And I told her, if you wouldn't have pointed that out to me, I'd have never even known. The spot was on your shirt. So we start bringing about our stains. We start looking at our stains. And the thing of it is, you don't have to base yourself on what other people think. You have the right to accept and love yourself just as much if you would accept and love someone else. Now, what's loving yourself? I'm always talking about accept yourself, have confidence, love yourself. It is not looking for the approval of others or waiting for life to bring you happiness. You miss so many things if you're looking down the road at what you're waiting for to bring you happiness, for love to bring you happiness. It's a hard way to go when you're looking ahead and waiting for whatever that is to come to you, and then you will be happy. You need to try to make your own happiness, bide your own time. And what it really means to accept yourself, does it mean you go out and get yourself a mani-pedi? Do you buy yourself a new car? Do you go get yourself some new clothes? Do you read inspiring quotes? Does it mean any of that at all? It really doesn't mean any of that at all. I can tell you when people say, oh, you got to love yourself before you can love anybody else, yada, yada. It is not any of those things. That is not accepting yourself so that you can get through these hard times. What you got to do is learn to appreciate yourself. Learn to quit second guessing yourself. When you spend time alone, you're not with somebody, and we talked about working on yourself when you're spending time alone. I told you about different ways I worked on myself, and it's not easy. It's not easy because you got to look at everything about yourself, how you feel about everything, where you got to figure out where you stand. And you got to look at your strengths. Some people can't see any, but you got to find them. You have them. You got to look at your weaknesses and adjust yourself to, okay, so I'm outspoken. These are my weaknesses. I'm outspoken. I'm anxious. I have fear of the unknown. I'm too old. I'm too emotional. I'm too fat. I'm too plain. These are all the things that you're going to be telling yourself after you get that letdown, after that 1 or 2 or 3 dates. And you're going to just not be able to see much of anything else. But you've got to look at your strengths as well. And I had to do that my own self. And I had to figure out if I did have strengths, because I sure could list all my weaknesses. So I figured out that my strengths are, I'm outspoken. I am resilient. I feel young. I'm self-reliant. I'm a strong person. People like to talk to me. I'm a good listener. You've got to pick out what your strengths are as well. Forgive your weaknesses. Work on your strengths. That's the cougar attitude. I don't believe the cougar attitude is the wiki how, oh, you got to go out and do whatever and you don't care about anybody else. That's not it. Being emotional can be a strength. It's one of my weaknesses. I'm very emotional. But it can also be a strength to be emotional. You can be more empathetic to other people. You can have other people actually wish for your company because just being in your company and talking with you helps them feel better. So being emotional is sometimes a strength as well. You stop looking for the approval of other people. Start approving of yourself. Take the time to accept yourself. You don't have to be led by what other people say. You don't have to worry about other people's opinion. You don't have to worry about what anyone else wants from you. Remember, you're single. Yeah, you're still trying to date. You want that relationship. That's a responsibility. But while you're not with anybody, make your own happiness. Keep yourself busy until the next opportunity comes along, if it does. If you keep thinking of yourself negatively, you're not going to have too many opportunities because you may not be as attractive, or you may not go after those opportunities because you might think you just plain don't deserve them. You can't accomplish things if you feel like you don't deserve those things. That in itself is going to keep you from getting happiness out of life. Keep up your own self-expression. You can have an opinion. It's okay for you to have an opinion. It's okay for you to speak your mind. It's okay for me to be outspoken. Sometimes I put my foot in my mouth. Sometimes I make mistakes and people don't really like what I say, but at least they know what's on my mind. You don't have to tolerate bad behavior. You don't have to tolerate any bad behavior. You don't have to when somebody says, oh, let's go this or that, or they try to push their opinion on you, or they want you to do something that you wouldn't do. Something that just gives you that sinking feeling. But you go along with it anyway because you figure, oh, well, they must know what they're talking about. They must know what they're doing. Or maybe I'm not right about this. You don't have to go along with something somebody else wants you to go along with. When you get that sinking feeling, you pay attention to that. Use your intuition. Create your boundaries. It's okay not to let everybody in. It's okay not to bring extra people into your life if it's not appropriate. You got to keep yourself a healthy soul. You got to take time for the things that you used to do that maybe you don't do anymore. We talked about that in another episode. I finally got back into my painting. I have half of a painting done, and it's going to take me a while to finish the other half. But I'm working on that. I'm listening to music. I'm working on learning new songs. I'm working on my house, my yard work, anything that is going to make me feel proud that I am who I am. Just be proud that you are who you are. Don't worry about missing out on a date, missing out on a guy. You don't have to have somebody on your arm to make you look good or make you feel confident and make you feel good about yourself. Feel good about yourself by yourself. When those little letdown periods come, if you just sit and you work on yourself, you know what you want, you've got your idea what you want, you know what you're going to tolerate, you know where you stand on things, you'll feel a lot better about yourself. And when you have these little things that come along that kind of take one step forward and two steps back, you're going to be okay. You'll be okay. You'll be ready to go out and try it the next time. If you meet somebody that's acceptable and somebody that is interested and you're interested in it, seems like a nice person, you're going to be more likely to be able to interact in an honest way and see more about the situation. You find out more about another person. The more you know about yourself, the more you can learn about other people. It's an all-around good thing. It's an all-around good thing to think about your strengths, accept your weaknesses, because they're going to be there. They're always going to be there. They're part of you, just like your strengths. They're all part of you. Don't ever think that you don't deserve something. You deserve everything that anyone else deserves. You deserve to love yourself as much as you would love somebody else. Don't ever forget that. When you're feeling down and you've been jilted by that guy and you think that you're never going to be happy because you're never going to be with somebody, you're just getting into the thing of being your own self-critic, like the lady with the stain on her blouse. She looked perfectly fine. She looked wonderful. But to her, she didn't look good because she had one stain on her blouse. She had to explain to me that, oh, well, I've got this stain right here. You don't need to explain anything to anybody. Sometimes explaining things makes you feel worse, but you don't have the responsibility of explaining anything to anyone. You know, get comfortable with the way you are. If I was that self-conscious about a stain on my shirt, I probably wouldn't even have worn a thing, let alone tell somebody, oh, I got this stain on my shirt. That's just an example of what we do when we're in this letdown, when things aren't going the way we wish they would. So spend some time thinking about yourself. Don't worry about what other people think of you. Consider your weaknesses. Weaknesses can also be strengths. Like I said, I'm outspoken. It's also a strength. I'm emotional. It's also a strength. Just spend time getting to know yourself. When you spend time getting to know yourself and analyzing yourself, you'll be able to understand the behaviors of other people, and you'll be able to cope better with life's little disappointments. So there's my answer, ladies. There's my answer. Dating is hard, but that's what you can do about it. You can accept yourself. You can love yourself. You can make your own happiness. You can bide your time until the next one comes along or doesn't. Feel good about yourself. It's a great way to live. It's very freeing. It's like a weight lifted off of you. I can tell you it's like a weight lifted off of you. So don't count yourself out. Just because somebody else doesn't like you doesn't mean that you don't like yourself or can't be liked. If you have anything to add to my little discussion tonight, you know how to get a hold of me. Real American Cougar on Facebook. racmatureculture@gmail.com. Keep sending me messages. Keep asking the questions. I'll keep trying to find the answers. And love yourself, because I love you. And if I do, you can. Peace out.